As a leader, your time is the most non-reusable asset. Yet most of you waste it on the order and return cycle because you are fighting 3 hidden errors. Number 1 is the lighting and post-production errors. Some online stores use high-intensity studio lights that fake glow the garment doesn't actually have, which means it fakes higher chroma. Some deploy the wrong camera to garment distance, which can distort the color according to the inverse square law, which means it fakes lower chroma. Some use the wrong lighting temperature when shooting, which can also distort the color, which means it distorts the frequency of the garment. Now, there are also post-production errors that you need to be aware of. The first one is the chromatic normalization. To make an online store look cohesive, editors oftentimes apply a global grade or filters to every photo. They normalize the whites and the neutrals to ensure that the background looks perfectly crisp. The result of it is that a warm mahogany, for example, is digitally corrected to look like a neutral brown to fit the website's aesthetic. You buy a frequency that supports your biology, but you receive an inert color that creates visual static. Number 2 is the contrast aggression. Post-production software is used to pop the details of high-end fabrics to make them look more expensive on mobile screens. Editors use the S-curve adjustments to deepen the shadows and brighten the highlights simultaneously. The result of it is that it distorts the depth code. The garment appears to have a high contrast authority online that it lacks in person. When it arrives, the power suit looks flat and lacks the southern silhouette promised by the digital edit. Number 3 is the saturation masking. Because screens in RGB can display more vivid colors than physical fabric dyes can achieve, editors often push the saturation. They use selective saturation to make a garment look like it has higher chroma than the textile is physically capable of holding. The result is that you are expecting a radiant signal, but you receive a muted one. Beside the lighting and post-production error, you also have the second error, which is the device error. And the truth is your phone and your laptop is lying. First, there is the backlight bias. Your screen emits light while your clothes reflect it, meaning the photos in an online store will always look more alive than the physical fabric. Number 2, there is the hardware tint. Every device has a built-in color personality or active light adjustment system, often leaning too blue or too vibrant, which acts as a hidden filter over every garment that you see online. And number 3, there is also the tilt shift. If you are not looking at your screen perfectly head-on, whether it's your laptop or your mobile device, the colors shift and can wash out, leading to an immediate and often incorrect judgment of a mismatch or a match. Now, the third major error is the paper error. Physical color swatches are matte and static, while your screen is backlit and vibrant. They are 2 different languages. You cannot translate between them without losing significant data. The first aspect of this error is the material dissonance. A printed card or fabric swatch is subtractive. It reflects ambient light, while a screen is additive. It emits its own light. Trying to match them is a biological impossibility for the eye, as they operate on 2 different physical planes. The second aspect of this error is the texture interference. Physical swatches have their own micro textures and sheen that catch the light in your room, creating visual noise that obscures the true color frequency that you are trying to match on a flat and glowing screen. Not to mention that the surrounding colors around you and the color swatch also influence what type of color you see on the swatch. The third aspect of the paper error is the degraded standard. Unlike a digital spectral card that my clients receive, which is a permanent, high-fidelity data file, physical swatches are always subject to spectral drift. They fade, yellow, and accumulate oil from your hands, meaning your reference standard is constantly decomposing, even with professional Pantone standards. Printing is a high-risk gamble. ink density and quality, paper porosity type and quality, and printer calibration and maintenance vary so wildly that a Savern gold can shift into a muted mustard the moment it hits the page. You are trying to match a physical chemical stain in ink to a digital light frequency. It is a technical mismatch that results in spectral drift every single time. Not to mention that Pantone colors are not a match to real human spectral types. They have been developed mainly for interior and digital design, not for humans. This is why the ray spectral calibration is strictly digital, for as long as printing standards have not improved and stores have not implemented clean and realistic store lighting and environment. Now, you can't change or influence the photography standards of an online store. You can only choose those stores that are dedicated to color accuracy. You can also influence which device you purchase and how you calibrate it, and which settings you use to see realistic colors in online stores, as well as the digital material you receive after your calibration. My clients get an exact recommendation in this department inside the custom consulting after their calibration. I know your Net-a-Porter wish list is full of items you're hesitant to purchase because you are tired of the return cycle. You don't have time to be a professional returner. You need to know before the courier arrives if that Loro Piana sand is your frequency or just expensive visual noise. The 50% global return rate is a result of a language barrier between the store and you. To solve this, the Ray Lab offers selective licensing for high-end and luxury maisons to integrate the spectral codes specifically and directly into their product metadata. When a brand adopts these standards, they provide the clients with immediate signal certainty. My clients no longer have to guess against a distorted image. They simply match the code in the product description to their private spectral cards. This is the future of zero-waste luxury procurement. Now, here's the safest route in 3 steps how you can find the right colors in online stores, given that you have your spectral cards at hand. The first step is to filter the garments based on the specific cards that you want to find. You have to purchase the ones that are a match, even if you don't know if the images are accurate or not. There is no way around purchasing the item, because you can only be 100% sure if you can see the garment in natural lighting, not in studio lighting, not in a physical store. This is the second step. Once the item arrives, you have to check the garment at home in natural lighting in front of a window during daytime and comparing it to your spectral card to see if it is a match or how much it deviates. Step number 3 is that you only keep those garments that are a perfect match, or at least are within your allowed deviation spectrum. There are 3 levels to this: for the beginner, the advanced, and the pro. The beginner might want to start searching in the store for the current available colors, because each season the stores tend to have different color selections. You can filter for specific color families, such as brown, pink, black, blue, green, and so on, and cross-check with your spectral card if any of the colors that you find in the store are a match. So you would generally look at all the pieces, or just select pieces, may it be dresses or just pants, whatever it is that you are looking for at that moment. If you find a piece you love on Net-a-Porter, go and look at the same item on Sense or MyTheresa. Compare the images. If the color looks identical in all stores, the signal is stable. You can be sure that the color will arrive as shown in the images. If they look like 2 different colors, you are definitely looking at studio noise. For the advanced, you can start right away with very specific colors that you want to wear in that season. For example, if you want to build a capsule wardrobe, you would only search for these specific colors. In this example, I would choose 3 distinct colors, 2 neutrals and a color. If you are a pro and you have received your structural calibration, you can choose very specific color combination cards and search for these colors. Also based on the recommendations that you may have received from me during your custom consultation, which colors to wear in which quantity, for which garment specifically, with which shape, length, neckline, and much more. So you can directly tune your wardrobe not only by color, but also by structure, by shape, and more. This of course saves you a lot more time. Now here's an example where I opened up a store and I chose to filter for pants and for cardigans and filter by color brown. Now as you can see, the pants that I was able to find had the right frequency, it also has the right chroma, yet it differs in depth. The pants is a little bit darker than my color card. For the cardigan on the other hand, it is almost a perfect match. It is slightly lighter, but that can also be due to the studio lighting. That in reality, the sweater would be a perfect match to the spectral card. Now let's answer the question how much you can deviate from your given spectrals. My answer is tailored to my client's spectral type. Now this is a particular service, as I mentioned, that I cover inside the custom consulting after you have received your calibration and you know your spectrals. Because the answer will be different for every client and every frequency within their spectrum, which means they may be able to deviate in the red spectrum more than in the blue spectrum, and so on. But here's an example for my client specifically. When it comes to deviation, we have to differentiate between the three aspects of a frequency or a color. And the three are hue, chroma, and depth. And they are all different based on your very specific and unique color type. My client can deviate within the hue only in the non-spectral range. And these are all her shades within the non-spectral range. Now here's a very specific example for hue. When we take Queen Camellia as the first spectral, she can deviate in hue, meaning the temperature of the color, slightly. When it comes to deviation, there's also a difference between daytime and nighttime, because your color type always changes between those two lighting environments, if you will. Generally speaking, I would recommend to try and be as accurate as possible during daytime, during natural light environments, while you can deviate a little bit more when it comes to evening settings or when you are surrounded by artificial lighting. The scale of your deviation will really depend on how your color type reacts to different light sources. Now, the second aspect of a color is chroma. My client can deviate with chroma just a little. So chroma is a very sensitive aspect of color for her. So she can go a little bit brighter depending on the setting and only a little bit softer. That will also depend how she plans to balance certain chroma in her outfit. When, for example, you are not able to find the perfect match of a shade, you can always counterbalance it with other shades that you are able to find in a perfect match. Now, the third aspect is depth, and depth is very tricky for my client. Again, if I take the shade Queen Camellia, she can deviate only just a little bit into the lighter spectrum, while she can deviate quite a bit when she wants to go darker. Usually when you receive your calibration, I try to cover all the possible deviation spectrums within the entire spectral range, which means in her palette, she already received 4 shades within one frequency. The first one is the lightest possible shade that she can wear with a slightly brighter chroma and a lower depth, meaning the color is lighter. The second shade that she can wear within this spectrum is the same hue, meaning the same frequency, but it has softer chroma than the first one and it has a higher depth. The third shade is again the same hue, same frequency, but it is a little bit brighter in chroma and it has a higher depth than the second shade. While the fourth shade is again the same frequency, but softer in chroma than the third one, and it has higher depth. It is the darkest shade of all. This beautifully shows how diverse your spectral distribution is when it comes to chroma and depth. Within the same frequency, you will not be able to wear the same chroma and the same depth. It will be a very dynamic graph. If you're interested in increasing your authority by removing any spectral interference and visual noise, feel free to apply for the spectral calibration for your wardrobe, hair, makeup, jewelry, and gemstones. The link is in the description, and there is only one seat left for March.